My name is Gary Walpole. I'm a photographer here in Memphis, Tennessee. I specialize in product photography, advertising photography. Been a commercial photographer for about 45 years. And so I knew Don Newman years ago, and his professional path sort of crossed with mine. I learned from old timers like him, and now I'm shooting in the digital world, digital age. And years ago, I used cameras similar to this that Don used, and I just would like to share my experience and talk about some of the things that we've done together. I got started in photography, I guess, by mistake. I flunked out of typing class in high school, and my teacher let me skip class and go take pictures. And I just instantly fell in love with photography. And so I tried some other professions and always came back to photography and have made it my career and have really enjoyed it. I think most commercial photographers do anything that pertains to advertising. We don't do portraits, we don't do weddings, anything like that. But a lot of the catalogs and product, I do a lot of medical product photography, a lot of furniture, a lot of products that you would see on Amazon or Walmart or any of these places that you see a product. Somebody like me has taken that picture. And it's a very specialized craft. Also, architectural photography. I do some of that. Um, so that's pretty much what I do. Don Newman took very similar things that I did. However, his work was much more labor intensive by using big cameras and film, and it took a lot of skill, a lot more skill than what we do in digital photography. However, he didn't have Photoshop and he didn't have any way to retouch, which we have now. So my old darkroom skills have morphed into Photoshop skills. And I can do pretty much everything on a 35 millimeter format digital camera that Don could do with this great big 8x10 camera. So technology's changed a lot over the years. I knew Don Newman from years ago. There were just a handful of commercial studios, and we all knew each other, and we pretty much collaborated or talked to each other now and then. And so I knew him from working at other studios, and he was just a really great guy, very sweet, very easy to get along with, easy to talk to, and just very, very talented. I've seen a lot of changes in photography. Um, the the skills that it took to run this, to operate this big camera, it took years to learn the skills. And it was not an easy camera to use, and it just took a long time to learn. Um, Nowadays, it's all digital, and it took me a while to get used to the fact that my digital camera was really a computer with a lens on it. And once I got used to the fact that I was really dealing with a computer with a lens on it, it just made it easier to make that transition. Um, I haven't been in the darkroom probably in 25 years. I don't really miss the darkroom, but I do miss the big view cameras. There's a magic to them that you can't find in any other format. My daughter and I got involved with the restoration of Don Newman's images Uh, my daughter Drew scanned the images and retouched them, and we applied more modern digital imaging technology to restore and preserve his negatives. There was some discussion about wanting to see what some of the locations look like now. And so I thought it would be fun to revisit some of the locations that Don had taken and photograph them with modern technology from the same exact angle that he took the pictures from. And I think it's been a really fascinating project to work on. And some of the people that have seen the before and after have been shocked and sometimes to see what we have lost, and impressed with the preservation as we see behind us. I think the Newman collection is important because you don't know where you're going until you've seen where you've come from. I think Don Newman had the forethought to photograph a lot of these locations that now we can take advantage of and see what they look like now. Well, I think when people look at what Don took and what I took, following in his footsteps, I think people can see how the city has progressed and advanced, and maybe in some ways we've torn down some buildings that maybe should not have been torn down. So I think it's a good way to see where you're coming from and where you're going to. Well, I think the future of photography is always going to evolve, and I don't know what's going to happen in my lifetime, but the digital imaging revolution really was a huge revolutionary change. And I never thought in my lifetime that I would see the downfall of Kodak, but it happened. I think Memphis is a very dynamic city, and I think that it's going to continue to grow.